Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin Kate. I'm a senior product designer based out of the United States. I haven't filmed a video in a while. I actually started a new role with a new company within the past few months. I've been very busy, obviously, with onboarding and getting into the swing of things. This is a video I've been wanting to make for you all, as I've seen a lot of comments on my videos, hearing the frustrations in really getting that first website created for your UX design portfolio. I empathize a lot with new designers. I know how difficult it can be. You've been working really hard on your boot camp or wrapping up your case study projects. Creating a website is like out of left field, right? Like it has to do with UX UI in that you're designing something, but you weren't necessarily trained to create a website. I've talked a lot in my previous videos about using Squarespace to build my first portfolio website. I've used it to build other websites as well. In this video, I'm going to step-by-step walk you all through building a Squarespace website from scratch for your UX portfolio. By the end of this video, you will have your foundational Squarespace website set up that you can go and plug in all of your personal information and your case studies. You'll be ready to go. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna just share my screen with you all with my computer here. I am already here on the Squarespace/templates page. What you all will land on if you just type in Squarespace with their landing page and then type in click the button that says get started up top, but you can also type squarespace.com/templates into your URL and it will take you straight to this page. For ease of use, let's go ahead and filter it to portfolio. That's what's really nice about Squarespace is they have gorgeous templates and it allows for you to edit upon those templates. So I'm going to filter for portfolio. What I usually look for is a layout that's going to allow my 3 to 4 main case study projects to shine on the landing page. I'm going to just scroll through these, check them out. I saw this above. I think I'm going to preview this really quick. Let's see. So that is a video. That could be interesting. And then as we scroll down, okay, so this would be a good place for case studies to live on a landing page. And then she has services there. I'm going to start with this design and then we'll work on it as you need it. Something went wrong while creating your site. Okay, here we go. This is going to go like in the upper corner of the landing page of the website. So I'm actually gonna like name it my name. You could do your initials. I see a lot of people though, they'll do like their name. It'd be like Erin Kate UX. And then they're kind of giving me this little walkthrough. So feel free to take advantage of that, but I'll just show you guys. First and foremost, what I'm going to do before I get into editing the individual pages is I'm going to add and kind of map out what pages I'm going to need for my website. I have an about section, which I'll keep. I have an inquire section. I don't need that. And then I have a work section, which I'll keep. I'm going to go here to website and pages. I'm going to move this inquire down to the not linked and it will remove it from the header. I might use that and just change the name of it later, but for now I'm just putting it kind of down in this look at the not linked section as like your folder of unused pages, like your drafts. And then the main navigation is what will show up in this main navigation section. The other section that you could add here could be a resume section where a hiring manager or recruiter could go directly on your website and download your resume. I think that's nice for junior designers so that they have a little bit more going on up here. If you think about like the rule of threes, it's nice to have 3 things to interact with. So let's go ahead and I'll just put that inquire back up and change the name of it. Resume. And we're going to change the navigation title, the URL slug, and that's all. Save. All right, so now we have like the blueprint, right? As far as the different pages, but we're going to keep digging deeper into the layers and we're going to work on the blueprint of the landing page, which is this home page. So I'm going to press edit to do that. Okay, I'm going to leave this video section for now. I actually haven't really explored that yet. So I explored that on the landing page. I have videos in my case studies, but I want to come back to that because what I'm focusing on right now is our case studies. So this section is really nice for case studies because what you have is 2 very big visuals that are going to showcase your work. And then they've already kind of pre-made this header subheader to explain it with the button. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate And then Squarespace has these like rows and columns grid system, and you can very easily drag and drop it. So it's not difficult. So I'm basically just copying this content over to this other image. What this will be is, and sometimes it's a little odd, like when you're tapping around, you just have to, I move too fast, so you have to like slow down and like, you know, highlight that, because sometimes it'll grab the wrong thing. Heads up. Case study 1. There we go. I'm used to Figma, so like I think if I double click, it's just gonna take me straight in, but it doesn't. Case study 2. So you get the vibe here. Now, if you only have 3 case studies, what you could do here, I'm gonna remove this image. So to remove that, as you could see, I clicked it and then I chose the trash can button. And so what you could do here if you only had 3 case studies, because remember, like the recommendation is you want to have 3 to 4 good case studies, solid case studies. And then I'm going to adjust it. Let's like see. I'm also going to shrink these down really quick. I just feel like they're a little too much for what I need them for. I'm checking here to see how many like boxes are above my, just kind of like 1.5 boxes. So I'm gonna move this up. See how that kind of lines up with the bottom of this. So I wanna move this one around so that it has the similar spacing. So as you can see, I've just kind of made this a more traditional image size, because if you're thinking about doing like an iPhone mock-up, or like, you know, we have like different like iPhone screens laid out cool to showcase your product, or a desktop, laptop mock-up with your product on it, it's gonna be a little funky on this size of an image. So I'm just thinking ahead. Pull that up. Same thing here, I just keep clicking the wrong thing. Okay. And I'm gonna shrink this section. So again, it's a lot of like tapping around. So, you know, obviously as designers, you all are familiar with Figma. Just explore and see what these different tools do. And remember, you can always press the back button. You can also press Command Z on your keyboard, just like in Figma. I might come and change the spacing. I want things to line up well. So I'm kind of going more for speed right now so that you guys can just follow along and these things to look really nice later. Okay, so this was if there's 3 case studies. I had the suggestion that you could do like 1, 2, 3, right? So you could do like 1, 2, 3 and show, you know, kind of just like to change it up. You can showcase the 3rd one with a bigger image. That's one option. Case study 3. So I'm going to give you a couple options. So that's like one option if you have 3 case studies. So I'm going to save this, and then it takes a little time sometimes to save. Oh, tip, while you're working through editing and all, save it every few minutes, because if you get a lot done and it doesn't auto-save. So if you get a lot done and like your internet crashes or the website crashes, which I have had happen, you're gonna want to make sure that it's saved. And also it does this funky thing when you press save, you're not 100% sure it's saved. So I'm gonna press exit, even though I'm not sure, but I think it has been saved. It always kind of puts me on edge, but it usually saves it. I'm gonna take this home, and then I'm going to tap into the settings, and I'm gonna duplicate page. And I'm going to show you guys another option for what we can do for case study like layout. We can do something more like this of a layout. So that's another way, if you have 3 or 4 case studies, to keep things looking nice. Is to do this alternating. So we don't really want like a strict images down one side, text down the other, but we could do a alternating image layout, which is nice. How many rows do we have here? Or boxes? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing here. Just move this down. Move this down. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I would always double check your work and come back over. It's kind of like doing like a wireframe into mid fidelity into high fidelity when you're doing UX design. That's very much what designing websites like. So again, I'm just doing it more for speed. And then at the end, or after you watch this video, you'd go through and really dig deep, like do a design review of your website itself. And then if you wanted to add another case study, another 2 case studies, you would do what we did before. We're going to take this image and copy it, grab it, put it down here, caddy corner. There we go. And let's see if I can like pick all of them at once. I can. So I just copied that group. Awesome. So there's another option. It's nice. You could play with the layout with the spacing, but that's another option if you had 3 case studies. And then last option, so then we would ignore this, we'd remove it and add your 4th case study on the right-hand side. So let's go ahead and save that and exit. I'm gonna trust that it's saved. It did for UX Squarespace because I'm not sure that it's saved because of the way the button, it's pressed and then it never unpresses. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back to our original to show you kind of the 4th option and probably what I would do personally. I have case study 1, case study 2. I'm gonna delete this case study 3 situation. Remove, and then I'm gonna take this section. So make sure my section is selected, not like my image. And I'm gonna copy it. Okay, so case study 3 and case study 4. And honestly, I think this is a really good starting place because you have nice big images, you have clear text, it's pretty, it's laid out well. I would mess with this a little bit, the spacing. Okay, so sometimes, I'll mention that, sometimes the spacing, I don't know, let's go ahead and do preview. I don't remember how I do the preview view. I think I have to save it. And then exit it. And I'm just going to like open it up and scroll. Ignore the entrance, but we have case study 1, case study 2, case study 3, case study 4. So I like a little bit less space here because I feel like I'm just wasting real estate. And that's how I get out of there. I'm gonna go back to edit, but you can see that they're not allowing me to shrink my section anymore. And that's a little bit frustrating. So then what you have to do is you come into edit section and you go to height and you go to small. So then it shrinks it. And I'm gonna do the same on the lower one. There we go. So now our 2 case study sections are closer together. We'll save that, open it up. And then when we scroll, it just feels a little bit more proper. It just feels nicer. We don't have like that weird bar of space between the 2. It's one big layout of case studies. So let's go ahead and get into the rest of this landing page. Edit. All right, so the reason that I left the video here is because I've been playing with an idea lately that I think could be a really nice little something for new designers, and that is like an intro video. So on one hand, there's the recommendation of on your case study, it's all about your work. And just show your work and don't even have an image of yourself on your landing page. That's kind of like the more recent advice I've been hearing. However, I don't necessarily agree with it. On one hand, I agree with it, maybe on a more senior level, and especially if you have like big name brands that you've worked for, like Fortune 500 companies, or like you're a FANG designer, that if you just have your logos and your case studies for Google, Amazon, like it makes sense, right? That you just want to absolutely shine the light on those. But if you're a new designer, I talk about this in my other videos and I really think about it a lot. How are you marketing yourself as a designer? And how it is to compete, to be on a team. Think about trying to get on a sports team and you stand out for different reasons. Obviously it's skill-based, yes, but when you're selecting people to be on your team, you're also thinking about how you're gonna work with them. And so I think that it doesn't hurt for a junior designer or someone new to the field to do like a little intro video, an image of themselves on the landing page, a little bit of an introduction because you don't have that work experience to kind of like sell yourself with. So you do have to rely a bit on the culture fit. That's also why I recommend being open to relocation to get that first 6 to 12 months on your resume, etc. But for that reason, I think that on your landing page, if you want to just showcase your work, that's 100% okay, especially if you feel super confident, you feel like stylistically your thumbnail photos for those case studies are really, really attractive and intriguing. But if you're coming out of a boot camp and you maybe know that you still have a lot to learn and maybe this work, like you're getting there, right? Like done is better than perfect, but you know that you could use a little extra something. I think that adding a little bit about yourself right on your landing page is okay. People are going to vary in that opinion, but that's my opinion. I'm going to shrink this down because I don't think we necessarily want like a huge like, hey, how's it going? So I'm going to shrink this down and I'm going to move this up here. So I'm giving you guys like a pretty generic landing page, right? If you even went on my website, it's fairly generic and I haven't redone it in years and I need to, but gets the job done for now. Okay, so then, hi. Okay, I'm just brainstorming as I film, so I won't waste your time. So junior designer based out of Denver, Colorado. Or, you know, Figma-ing and playing in Denver, Colorado. Something like that. And then you could do like, what is that? Shortcut. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. You could do something fun. Anyhow, there's that. And then you can have like an intro video, right? Okay. So I want to make sure that my spacing is decent here. I'm going to shrink. Nope, see, it won't let me shrink. So let's see what it would look like. It's already on small height. I'm just going to keep this for now, but could come in and play with it a bit. I'll center it. I might change that as well. But if you've followed along thus far, you have a successful landing. I actually want this bigger. Give me a second. It's the ADD kicking in. That a little bit bigger, and I want to bring this down because I want a little bit of space between my header. I want a little bit more space. So if you've been following along, you now have a successful like header section and case study section, and we're gonna edit the side footer now. Don't need this, just gonna delete it. Gonna shrink this section down. I don't mind the content that's in here. I'm gonna pull it up. And what's down here? Oh. I'm gonna delete the Made with Squarespace. And then I'm gonna edit social links. So this is where you edit social links and you can add and remove anything you want. So like if I added a social link, I'd do like, I don't know what my LinkedIn social link is, but this is where you would add, your other social links, right? And you can also toggle on your display social icon and don't display. I would obviously display it and you can delete it as well, but let's just leave it for now. And that's how you do that. And when you add a social link, I don't know how it will react if I do this, linkedin.com/. I have it on my phone. Let me check. Just for the purpose of showing you guys how to add a social link. Okay, so that's my social link for LinkedIn. Cool, so then it adds LinkedIn. Yeah, we got it. All right, and then you just have to tap out. Save it. I probably should have actually edited this, shrink it up. There we go. Give it a little bit more breathing room. That's good for now. Save. Okay, so we have a landing page. Hurrah. Let's stretch it out and see what the preview is like. Lovely. So easy. It's actually kind of easier than Figma, right? Here, oh, I'll show you guys something fun real quick. We can do something fun really quick. Okay, so let's look at adding a section. I want something to break out my header from my image. This is what I want. I want this moving text. Again, with Squarespace, what I selected also added this picture. I'm just gonna remove it. Added this text, I'm gonna remove it. I'm gonna shrink this back up. I'm gonna click out. Maybe I'll shrink it down. Okay, you can like edit your wave intensity. That's cute. And text style heading. Then you could also do like a paragraph text style. I'm gonna go with this serif font. You can mess with your speed. Honestly, what they already have is pretty nice usually, but it is fun to play with. And I'm gonna go with medium because I don't want it to be too in your face. All right, I'm going back to content, and then this is how you edit what it says. So again, like I move super fast and sometimes I'm like, wait, why isn't it working? Because my brain is like programmed for different software, but just slow down and read and see what you're typing, and it will usually all explain itself. Problem solved. I'm gonna do caps lock. That sounds so gimmicky. We'll go with that. All right. Thanks for hanging in there with me while I get sidetracked. Save. I didn't spell designing right. I'm sorry, I gotta fix that. Designing. There we go. Okay. Now we have our landing page. Lovely. I feel like the landing page would give you a good enough idea on how to edit the other sections, right? Okay, so I saved it, I exited out, and now I want to check out the about section. And what it's going to do is show me like a preview of the about, not a zoomed in preview, unless I were to press this. But it's going to show me just like an overview of my about section. And I'm going to go in and edit that again for my purposes. Look at other people's websites to get like inspired for how you want to lay that out, but sticking with their template, there's nothing wrong with it. You could put a little bit about yourself here, your contact info, and an image of yourself. Definitely change the image. And then resume. So on resume, I'd keep it super simple. Okay, so remember this was previously the inquiry page, but we don't need all this. So we're just gonna like take away. In fact, I'm gonna strip this all the way down so that I can show you guys how you could build a page from scratch. And you can add a blank page. I just happen to use the inquiry page. So let's go ahead and add a block. And let me see if there's anything that's like pre-made. There is. So if you do add a section, that's where you're gonna get your pre-made content. What I wanna do here is I just basically want a button with like my resume. I think also it'd be nice to have your resume already typed out or like a nice PNG of your resume on this section so that they can look at it or they can download it. Thinking, I go to like, okay, so this is just an idea. You could take like a page like this, remove your image, and what you could do here, we're gonna edit this accordion. So the first one is dream it, build it, grow it. We're gonna go in and we're gonna do like, I'm just gonna do my current. So you would do like your job, and then description, you could say like what I did here. I don't like the caps lock. So that's like a way you could like make it a more interactive resume. And then you would do the same, you could add 2024. So you could just do something like that. Like if you wanted to play with it a little bit, you wanted to, what I did. You wanted to make it a little bit more interactive. So there's ways that you can play that's kind of fun on Squarespace, or you could also do just like a very cut and dry, copy paste your resume right into the text boxes over here. And what that's gonna do, because it's an accordion, is allow for, you can add items. So I could do all my work history. I'm not gonna. It will allow for, okay, I'll go ahead and save it. And exit really quick, and then I'll show you. So then it would be kind of fun because then they can like flick through. I feel like that's kind of fun. And then what you can do here, let's edit it again. Resume. Download below. Again, don't necessarily copy exactly what I'm doing, but these are just ideas. So now what we need to do is we need to add something here, right? Because we need a button. Yeah, I'm gonna go to add block and I'm gonna go to button. I'm gonna put my button right down here and I'm gonna edit my button. And then what I would do is attach like a Google Drive link to this, like a Google Drive share link. Yeah, I think I'm saying that right. So what I usually do is I'll put my resume into my Google Drive, I'll open it up so that anyone with the link can access it, like the PDF of it, and then I will attach the link here, and you'll press attach link, and then it will save it, and then you'll want to press save. So this section is kind of like an auxiliary section for when you don't have, you know, like right now I have a section on my website that says mentoring, and so I kind of have like that nice, robust, more robust looking navigation section. I just don't really like it when it's like you only have 2 things to interact with. It makes sense, but I like it to look a little bit more robust, so that's why I like to add resume for new designers. Okay, we're gonna exit. So now we have this resume section. And again, I would clean up the spacing here, pull it up, not let them have all this scroll space that's really unnecessary. Now we're gonna talk about our case studies. Going back, let me explore this really quick. Okay, so our work. Okay, so there's a couple options. What you can do is you can link to work directly from your homepage. Go to my homepage. So you see here, your home is gonna live in the not linked section, because if you move it up, it's going to look like this, which is fine. I actually think that's fine as well, but tapping on this will take them home, and I feel like that's fairly intuitive, but you can go ahead and add it to your nav bar if you want. I think I'll go ahead and leave it just because then they don't have to search for it. That kind of defeats my rule of 3 that I was talking about. But what I could do is add the resume stuff to my about section, or to my, yeah, probably to my about section, but it doesn't look bad like this. So I'm gonna leave it, and I'm gonna leave the home first if I have home up here. Your call. On my current website, I do not have a nav to home. I just have them tapping. I'm double checking. Yeah, I just have them tapping on the, let me pull up my website actually really up to date. Okay, so yeah, I actually do. I have it say welcome. Maybe not the best. You guys see I have a period there. Like I said, this is old, and I probably could figure out how to like not have to have anything. It's also nice people have like a little logo up here, but I haven't really touched this guy in a while. Like I've updated images, but I haven't really touched it, like given it the TLC it needs. I'm gonna leave it as home, and let's talk about how to link up our case studies to our work section. So I'm also gonna leave a work up in the nav. Again, you can link directly from your case study card into like a work section, but I'm gonna keep it simple for you all. So let's go ahead and edit this. I'm wondering if there. No, because we have to think about the UX. So if you're on the home screen and you press into one of these, you're gonna wanna be able to go straight into the case study itself. So let's go ahead and look at this. Okay, so this is case study 1. Okay, so we wanna think about our touch points. What do we want the user of our website to click on to be taken into the case study itself? I feel like naturally clicking on the image and on the quote unquote button is what's going to make the user think that they're gonna be taken there. I don't think the user is gonna assume clicking on the text will take them there, but I feel like see more obviously, and the image is a natural touch point for the user, and if they were to click the image and not be taken there, they might be frustrated, so I wanna make sure that both of these are clickable. I'm going to link. This is what we'll have to do here. I think what I'm gonna do is build pages for my case studies instead of having them okay, what I'm saying is I don't want the images to link to that work page that I just showed you that had a lot of images on it. I don't want the user to have those extra clicks. The user knows they're trying to get into my case study number 1, so I want them to be taken straight there instead of having to be rerouted to the work page. I just want them to shoot straight to the case study 1, so I need a page for case study 1. I'm gonna move work to unlink for now. I'm gonna do a blank page for this, and I digress. I want to see what these are like. I'm gonna do a blank page for this. I think blank page for case study makes sense because I've already templated my case study out in Figma. Obviously, this will be the name of your project, so you know, like, cool app. but for this, I'm applying case study 1. I'm gonna go and look at the details on this. Okay, so this is the URL slug. I'm gonna copy it. Let's go back to home. Let's edit. And we'll do this to each of your case studies, but I'm obviously not going to do it to each of the case studies right now. Okay, so I press that link icon for this image, and then I'm going to paste, and it's going to show me the case study 1. You could also link to file, email, phone, but we're not doing that here. Open link in a new tab. I like to do this because I don't like nabbing back to home if I don't like being taken away from the screen I'm looking at. So I just usually open link a new tab for the user. And then here we're doing the same thing. We're gonna find the link icon and we're gonna take this to case study 1. So you can search your pages on your Squarespace site. Open link a new tab. Okay, so what I have here, case study 1 will be like our showcase of what you're gonna do for all your case studies. You have this linked, cool, and then you have this linked. You have to dig a little deeper to find that one. So then you have that linked as well. So we want our images and these linked. You could also add a button here. It visually doesn't look as nice, I don't think, but it's more clear for the user. And if you got deeper into personalizing this, you can maybe make the buttons look a little bit nicer, not so just like blatant, but I feel like this is good. Okay. Is it? Okay, so now when we press this, it's gonna link us to this hidden case study. What I think I'd like is to create a folder. Drop down. Okay, they didn't actually have this when I was building my website. Okay, so let's call it portfolio. And then you add your page. Okay, so I'm gonna move this under here. There we go. That's what I was looking for. What you're doing here is you're making like a foldered navigation. That's how my brain is thinking about it. So I'm just gonna pre-make these and then I would go and obviously fill them out with the content, case study 4. Then what that feels like and looks like for the user, let's preview it, is their home, go down and select what case study you want to look at. Now we haven't built any of these out, but this is a nice way to do the projects because then we don't have that like extra tab. Because what I see a lot of designers do with these templated sites is like you would have a portfolio section where you would tap in to it and it's basically just going to be another version of this landing page. And I just feel like that's a little redundant, right? We don't necessarily need that extra click and we're just adding more clicks to our user's experience and that's not ideal. So that's why it's nice to have it where they can navigate directly because they're already getting a preview of the case studies from the homepage. Now, when it comes to building out your case study itself, I want to go ahead and give you guys like a hyper speed accelerate your work. And that is where I'm going to direct you to my template UX case study structure template. I have an entire video about this. Oh, I hope it's sharing. My screen record is sharing. If it's not, I'll like drop an image of it and I'll put the link in the description. But I have an entire video about this, how to use this template for your case studies. But basically you just have like your layout and you're gonna plug your stuff in. I think it's always nice to do it in Figma before you go build it out in a website because you can review, make sure that everything is in the right order, and then you'll go add it. So I'm just gonna like do like a very brief walkthrough of how you could start building from scratch when we have that blank page on Squarespace, how we would build from scratch. So we're gonna add a section. And you can go with something that's kind of pre-made, similar to our landing page. We can add and take away as needed. I would avoid, side note, I would avoid anything with too much creativity, because it's not that nice for the UX portfolio purposes. So just go with something that looks more traditional that you would see on like a famed designer's portfolio website, that you would see on a more senior designer's portfolio website. And I wouldn't go with anything like slideshowy because you don't want to hide your content. So let's go to the portfolio section and see what that looks like. can't say I'm big on this either. So I'm just gonna start with an image up top, or maybe like, okay, so I want intro here. I'm gonna start with something like this. Okay, so this is where I'd put like project name. Maybe the year of the project. I'm gonna delete this button because I don't wanna link away from this. And then this is where I'd maybe do like that first original mockup. So let me pull up my template here. I would do like this first original mockup of like the final product, and then you get into building out your case study. And remember, from here, it's basically adding sections and adding blocks. So I'm gonna move myself. Okay, so down here it says looking for sections built with our classic editor. I like that more almost for building from scratch because they have stuff like text, like you can just access like more foundational assets. And I like that a lot because sometimes you just don't want to add like all these mini templates because you're just going to end up cutting them up and deleting stuff from them, and what you really just need is something like this, you know? So problem statement goes here. And so this is what you're doing. And then you put in all of your information, and then you're gonna go through and you're gonna clean up the spacing, right? Let me do this, move myself again. Okay, so I'm not seeing where I can control the rows here. So if you can't control the rows, if you can't control the rows, go to your edit section and do your section height smaller. And so that's how you'll go through and you'll edit upon the different way these are laid out. Now, a couple more things that I'll add here. So I'm gonna just copy this so that I can show you. You can grab this section. Sometimes it's just a little weird. Okay, so first off, you can grab these boxes. You have to kind of like float around till your little hand cursor pops up, and you can move them around, right? So we can move them around. If I wanted it underneath, now it's gonna stretch. This text will fill a container. So think about Figma, like this is your container. The blue highlighted text box is your container, and your text is gonna fill wherever it's stretched to. And then if I wanted to add something right below, you can press that, and then there we go. That's how you can add straight the text. That's how you can add text straight away as well. You can add, really, if you're building out a case study, all you're gonna be using is image, video, text, maybe a spacer. Charts, you can use charts. I've built charts straight into Squarespace. That's fun, so you can explore that. So just kind of like spend time going through the different options here. I usually use pie charts. And then like, oh, this is so big. So just explore what you can do. It's like Figma. Remember, you're using a tool and you're learning how to use a tool. And even I'm looking at this like, wait, how do I shrink this? Because it doesn't seem obvious. So I'm gonna press edit, and then you're gonna go and go to the design section of it. Actually, that's not true. This is where you would edit your pie chart. The thing here is I want this smaller, so let's find out how to do that together. There we go. So I just moved him up by here, and that shrunk it down. And then if I wanted something the same size, I don't know if I can actually copy charts, but I could certainly copy the section and then remove the text. If I wanted to use that chart all over again, see what I mean? You gotta like kind of, it's not, I feel like Squarespace is very user-friendly, but it's not as robust. You know, you can't do quite as many things with it, so you have to take that into consideration. So sometimes if you feel like something can't be done, A, Google search it, or B, probably flip that around. A, sit here and just play with it and try to see, like, I wasn't quite sure how to get this pie chart to shrink, but then I moved it to line up to the right side of my text, and then it had to shrink down because it got squished into its container. So spend time playing around. If you feel like something isn't making sense, you can turn to Google or YouTube, but usually if you get creative, you can figure out how to make it work. All right, so that's all I'm really gonna do because we're at almost an hour here. I feel like building a Squarespace portfolio website in under an hour actually is a great achievement. When it comes to building out your case studies, go back, use the template, watch the template video, and it will give you a really good idea of how to break it down. You're basically taking that template as your blueprint, and then you're gonna plug your information into Squarespace. Always press save. Let's go ahead and open it up and just kind of like experience our website. I'm gonna start at home. Okay, I have an intro video, I have a little bit about myself, fun little scrolling wave banner. I'm gonna go clean up my spacing later. I have my case studies, they're shining, they're on the landing page. That's what we wanna call attention to, that's really what matters. And then we have our footer section. We probably need to edit to, I guess they didn't inherit the portfolio because the portfolio has that folder-like action, so we can keep these on the bottom, or we can remove these and just have them be the social icons. That's what I would do. And we have portfolio, home. I'm gonna put home front in front of portfolio, about, and resume. So about, we have our about information, our resume, awesome, our case study, which we're still working on. And we're gonna downsize. Sorry, I did not mean to press that. So I press website to get back, and then I'm gonna put home above portfolio. Great. And I think that for customizing, I'll get deeper into that in a part 2 video, because what I wanted to do here was really give you guys that base for creating, but I am going to give you a sneak peek of how to customize, like the very beginning stages of customizing, because I want you guys to end this video with your website ready to publish. So you're gonna press the paintbrush, and that's where you can go in and you can change your colors, your fonts. So you have fonts, colors, animations, spacing, buttons, forms, image blocks. The only things I really edit are fonts, colors, maybe my buttons. I don't mess too much with this kind of stuff because the template's gonna make it look nice already, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is just me exploring this, showing you guys how you can go in and change things up. They give you suggestions, really they kind of do this for you. Take advantage of that, don't overthink it. For my website, for a portfolio website, keep in mind that you want your content to shine, right? So you want your content to shine, so probably avoid anything that's too showy, because what you're really trying to call attention to are your case studies. Something like this would not be very enjoyable. So I'm gonna go, be careful because I don't know how to get back to my original. Be aware that you might get stuck with your choices if you don't take note of what the original was. So I would copy the original hex so that I could go paste it back in if I didn't like the things that I played with. But let's go ahead and just go very monochromatic for now. Oh yeah, you could go ahead and press the back button. What was I thinking? How silly. Oh no, it's not working. So do be aware. Okay, and that is that. Okay, so that is the end of this video. You guys have your portfolio website. Couple notes, you'll have this for 2 weeks. So you can go in, design, work on it, edit it, add your case studies. You have it free for 2 weeks. Then your website will be ready to publish, but you'll need a domain. You can purchase your domain through Squarespace, or you can transfer a domain from a different domain purchasing site. Is it a host? I don't think it's a host, but GoDaddy or something like that. You can bring it in, and there is it's just really simple. Just really simple. Go ahead, get started. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll be making more content like this to help new designers break into the world of UX, streamline their job application process, and simplify the sometimes intimidating process of transitioning into UX design. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Bye.